install Docker in the AWS EC2 instance. So let's quickly run some command to install a Docker so that we can deploy some applications on it. Previously, we already used Docker very intensively to deploy MySQL, MongoDB, Kafka, things like that. So later on, we're going to use Docker to build our own image for our system application so that we can use Docker to deploy our system to the server. All right, so first we have to install the Docker, and we can run docker yum. If your server is created not recently, you probably want to run this yum update to update your packages and list, and then we can just search YAML info and Docker. It will list us like there's available Docker package version, and release for Amazon and things like that, description. So it looks good. Then we can run sudo super user yum install Docker. Okay, so here this will install the Docker service, and it will tell you those are the installing packages and dependencies, the size, everything. So type yes, and then it will download the Docker package and install it on the server. All right, and it may take some time. Let me just pause the video. Actually, it doesn't take too much time because it's on the server, so the network is kind of fast, right, than at home. And now if we run docker command, so then we can see there's a some prompt. It means that like actually the Docker is successfully installed. So now we can run the docker command to start some containers. So let's just open the browser, and then let's just install an nginx. So nginx is a web server. Let's search docker hub nginx. And then here is the nginx image. We can choose. So this one is fine. And we need some modification, of course. And docker run -name. I forgot to start the Docker service. I guess it may give us issues, but let's fix this command first. Let's just give sep-nginx /some content, and then map to this content, and let's just change it to our home directory, /html. And -nginx. Right, so this is the error. So we didn't start the Docker service yet. So what we can do is super user systemctl and enable Docker, and then sudo systemctl start Docker. So then this will start the Docker service, and this will enable the Docker service so that every time we restart the server, and this Docker will be automatically up. And then we can run the Docker run here. Docker run, and it will tell us that we don't have the permission. So who has the permission? The sudo user has the permission. So we can either do sudo, or we can add the EC2 user into the Docker user group. But for now, let's yeah, that's correct. We have to pull the nginx image, and then now everything is up. So we can use docker ps to check. Super user docker ps, and then we're gonna have nginx up and running. And now let's try to access it. So we can go to our IP address, which is, I don't know, don't remember. Let's get back to the browser, and the IP address is this one. So this one, and then the port is 80. But surprisingly, I forgot to add the port number. So let's just switch to sudo, and then we can docker stop sep-nginx. Okay, and then docker remove, okay, sep-nginx. This is how we delete. This is how we delete and stop a docker. Okay, so rm. Okay, this is not remove. It's not delete. What's wrong with me? All right, and then we can now start it again. Okay, so sudo. We don't have to sudo because we're already in the root. We can just run this again. And before that, make sure that we have a port forwarding. Okay, it could be put anywhere. Let's see after the name. Okay, port forwarding from our 80 port to the Docker's 80 port. Okay, so this is the correct way. Okay, so same image, but now we have a port forwarding, so that when we go here and then access our public server, okay, so then it will try to visit 80 port on this server, and the port will be forwarded into the container, which is nginx is listening to, and then it will try to render some content. But this won't work. Okay, if I hit enter, you can see now the application is just hanging there, right? It's just keep rotating. It's because our server is not rejecting it. It's just basically dropped the request because we didn't set the security group. Okay, so for the security, for the firewall of this server, we didn't allow the 80 port to be accessed. We only allows this 22 port from my home address. Okay, so now we can add it. Okay, we can just change this home security, add a new rule. Okay, and to make like HTML, HTTP port 80, right? So and to from anywhere in the world. Okay, and save. It depends. You can just change it to your home address, or you can just make it like 0000. That's the all over the world. Okay. After doing that, now go back and then refresh the page. Okay. Oops. Okay. Just try to access again. And sometimes it will take a minute or moment. Okay. And you can see it applies, right? So our nginx returns a 403. Okay. So forbidden. So you're not getting anything, but it's just some error. But this is the error returned from our server, which means that our server is working. Why? It's because our this one. Okay, so this website, this URL is not working fine. Let's just create a HTML. Okay, and then we need a HTML index file, right? So let's just do hello, okay, world, and then we can just append it to index.html. Okay, after doing that, we will have an index.html file created under the HTML folder. Okay, so then now if we refresh, and you see we have this hello world. Okay, so print it out from this website. I will create a website basically, but it's not secured. Okay, we don't have HTTPS, and we don't have fancy layout, but you got the idea, right? So this page is created on the server. Okay, so for here, and if we have Angular or React code, that we can put it into this folder, and then our UI will be rendered here. Okay, so this is our EC2 with the Docker image, and this is just a demonstration. Okay, so in the real world, we shouldn't use root, okay, to do all those operations. So we'd better just add the Docker user, like EC2 user, into the Docker group. We can use the user modification, okay, command to do that, so that our regular user, okay, can also use Docker to start the containers and do the operations instead of using root, because root has all the privilege. It's administrator. Shouldn't be used for the normal maintenance. Okay, but anyways, you get the idea. That's it for the Docker and the EC2. Thanks.